Hey, it's Martin with CoinRingUSA. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys from start to finish how to take a Morgan dollar and turn it into one of those smaller sized coin rings that has those gorgeous straight walls using that Swedish Wrap method. So here we go. Now I've already gone ahead and I've annealed this coin. The first thing we'll do is take the 1.5 inch universal reduction die. Now the key throughout the folding process is you want to make sure that your coin is nice and level. Just go ahead and line that up. And give it a nice first initial press. Now you can see that I have not gone all the way down. And the reason for that is I'm trying to protect the inner detail of the coin. Might be able to get a better shot that way. You can see that there's still room to go, but I've got a very nice initial first fold on this Morgan dollar. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to the polymer resin folding cones, the smallest one. I'm still on the 1.5 side of the universal reduction die. Make sure it's nice and level and give it a nice press. I can already feel it work hardening, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to re-anneal the coin. You want to anneal often enough to keep the metal, the silver, in a soft state. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's nice and even. And I'm going to go ahead and press again. One pops right out. Got another good fold. Now I'll switch to the second size folding cone. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the 1.5 inch side. Get it down a little further. So one of the options that you can do when you get to the point where you're kind of far down into the reduction die, if you want to utilize the spacer, you can go ahead and do that, or you can switch to a larger sized cone. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the next cone in the set, and I'm continuing the folding process. Okay, so now I've gone down as far as I can with a 1.5 inch die. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch to the smaller 1.4 inch diameter die. And I'm going to keep with the same folding cone and go down pretty much all the way. I'm now going to switch to the largest folding cone to finish the folding process. Okay, so now I folded it down into the reduction die as far as it's going to go. And you can see that because this is the largest folding cone in the set. And when I put it into the conically shaped coin, draw your attention up to the top here around the rim, you'll see that there's no space in between the sides of the folding cone and what's touching. What's making first contact is the inner portion of the reeded part of the coin. So those two are pretty much matched up all the way around, and that's what it looks like top down. I now know that I folded this coin as far as it can go. So traditionally, after this point where you've gotten the coin folded this far, normally what people would do is you would then take it up to your expanding splines right up here on the ring sizing machine with the cut side down. And you would then start to expand the coin here, because the goal is you want to flare out this thinner cut side so that it would better match up as straight across as possible prior to the final reduction process. But with the Swedish Wrap method, you're continuing to shrink down the reeded portion of the coin. Utilizing shallower reduction dies, in essence what you're doing is the process of extrusion. These extrusion dies are shallower, meaning that this pitch is not as pronounced, it's not as deep, and actually have the coin go down in such a way that it's going to shrink the reeded part of the coin, so that it's going to, number one, elongate the coin, but it's also going to bring the reeded part of the coin closer in line with the thinner cut part of the coin, and that's ultimately the goal, utilizing the Swedish Wrap Method. So I'm going to go ahead and anneal this coin and wrap it in Teflon tape. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've re-annealed the coin again, and I've wrapped it. I usually go around the coin 4 times with the Teflon tape. I mean, the stuff is so inexpensive. You can pick it up super cheap on Amazon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it back into the same extrusion die, because it's not yet small enough to where it'll fit into the next size die, but I've actually pushed it as far as I can with the first push rod that I've gotten. So then I go down to the next smaller size. So now we'll go ahead and put that into the arbor press ram head, get it lined up nice and even, and press down. Now I've bottomed out in this extrusion die as far as I can go, and you'll see tape's still on there really good. So at this point it's now going to fit into the next size extrusion die. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it another wrap, another coat, because you can see how it's kind of worn off just a little bit. So now I'm moving to the next diameter extrusion die, because you want to really keep the coin as close to the top as you can so that you have maximum amount of control. So I'll use the same diameter push rod as before and go ahead and give it a good press. Now I'll go ahead and take the tape off. Something that I like to do often. Maybe I don't need to do it as much. I'd rather just err on the side of caution so I can see my work throughout. And here we go. You can see that detail is completely intact. So now with the tape off, I'm going to go ahead and re-anneal and rewrap the coin. And so I rewrapped it again, and I'm going to use the same extrusion die. The only thing now is I've gone far enough with this particular size push rod, so I'm going to switch to the smaller size push rod. So when you first initially go to press the coin down, you kind of want to do so slowly, just until you feel some resistance, or you kind of feel it bottoming out, and then you can go ahead with your press. So I'll just kind of put it in, feel where it's at, and then go ahead and continue the extrusion process. Now I felt that one bottom out in the second extrusion die. I'll show you. And here's where we're at. Right now, if I put this on the sizing stick, this is now a 10.5 on the reeded part. So I've bottomed out in the second die. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the next size down extrusion die, because when I put that coin in, you can see that the reeded edge is just a little bit below the top of that die. So then when I take my push rod, it fits right in perfectly. So I've annealed the coin yet again. So now we'll go ahead and put that into the smallest extrusion die that I'll be using for this particular coin. You can see now where there was a little bit of room, it's almost pretty much flush now because of the space taken up by that Teflon tape. So now I will utilize the same push rod. You can see you got a little bit of room around there all the way around the sides. Push it down really carefully just to make sure that it's seated properly. This is what we have so far up to this point. This is now a 9.5. Okay, so I've taken the tape off again, And you can see all the details there. It looks beautiful. Still cone shaped, and of course I could certainly go a lot further, but this coin ring is actually going to end up by being a size 10 for a client. And I know that once I take out a lot of this overhang material that's formed when the coin is again folded in onto itself, creates a sort of a ledge on the inside there. I know I'll be able to open this up to a size 10. But at this point here, now I'm going to go ahead and take it to the ring sizing machine, to the expanding splines, so that I can finish the process by opening this side up so that I can have that beautiful straight wall. Now remember, when you're putting the coin ring onto the ring sizing machine, when you're at that point, you want to make sure to put the cut side facing down to expand that part out. It's important here to take your time as well. I like to go around about a quarter of a revolution each time I pull the handle. Okay guys, here's the end result. A perfectly straight walled size 10 Morgan silver dollar using the Swedish Wrap Method. One of the things that you want to remember throughout the Swedish Wrap Method process that you want to sort of keep in the back of your mind is your final target size. In this case here, I knew for the client I was going for a size 10, and so you want to keep that in mind. Ideally you want to bring the thicker reeded part down to your target size, and then you're going to go ahead and expand. In essence, you're flaring out the thinner cut side so that it ends up straight walled if that's the look that you're going for. However, in the case of the Morgan dollar, I know that I actually needed to shrink this down an additional half size, so I actually brought this down to a 9.5 using the Swedish Wrap Method, because I was then going to take my deburring tool, which I've already done, and I knew that by going around enough to remove a lot of the overhang material here so that it's more of a, what they call like a comfort band, I knew that I was going to increase the size by about a half a ring size. So this is the final result here, a size 10. I'm going to go ahead later on and I'll finish this coin ring off by using my rounding, finishing, and polishing Mandrel set. I'll go ahead and put an antique patina finish on it for the client, and it'll be ready to ship off. So fantastic results, super excited about it, gotten a lot of awesome feedback. Thanks so much. Continue the comments and suggestions. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Continue sending those comments and suggestions. Look forward for additional videos in the future on this technique as well as other topics, points of interest that you guys have as coin ring makers. And one final thing I want to show you, I the other night took a American Silver Eagle and brought it down to one of these. I call it my thimble coin ring. You can see the detail just beautifully intact. I mean, nothing at all has been destroyed on the coin, and all the detail on the reed is there as well. And I mean, look guys, I mean it's a size 6. I mean, it fits on my pinky, and I could have gotten it down a couple of sizes. I could have probably gotten it down comfortably to a size 4.5 or a size 4. So possibilities for this technique are really endless in my opinion. Look forward again to the Swedish Wrap tools, the additional tools that I'll be coming out with, the new tools. You can find those and all my other coin ring making tools at CoinRingUSA.com. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye for now.